drinking and partying and doing whatever I want for all the way through until they told me that I had to fight. My instincts told me not to. My body wasn't well. It had a lot of toxins in it, as you could imagine. A lot of stupid shit. I don't know how to fix my body. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna go to the gym. And I gotta give credit to my neighbor Jeff. He seen me down and out, and I was really fat, and it's weird. I stayed fat in that roller camp too. I never unfatted.
The boxing world has just been rocked by news so stunning that even Ryan Garcia's most loyal fans are struggling to believe what they're hearing. And the details emerging from Las Vegas, just 4 days before fight night, are absolutely devastating for everyone who bought tickets, paid for pay-per-view, and dared to believe that this time, things would finally be different.
Man, Ryan Garcia is back at it again, playing the same game he's always playing, but he gets fined.
Sources close to the situation are now suggesting that Ryan Garcia's world title dream against Mario Barrios could be on the verge of complete and total collapse. And the reasons why have sent the entire boxing community into a frenzy that nobody in the sport saw coming, even 48 hours ago. Just when everyone thought this fight was finally going to happen. Just when the boxing world was ready to find out whether King Ree had truly turned his life around and become the fighter he was always destined to be, reports began circulating from people inside both camps that something had gone seriously, catastrophically wrong behind the scenes in the final days of preparation.
I don't see Barrios. I just see an opponent that I need to beat. So it's not really about Barrios. Barrios, great, probably great human, great person, but I don't see him as like right there as him. I just see an opponent, and that's it.
Have you watched the Pacquiao?
The story now coming out of Las Vegas is one that boxing fans are going to be talking about for years to come. Because if sources are correct about what happened, this is not just a story about one fight falling apart. This is a story about a career, a legacy, and a young man's entire future hanging by the thinnest possible thread, just days before the most important night of his professional life. Many believe that Ryan Garcia's troubled history with anti-doping authorities has once again come back to haunt him at the absolute worst possible moment, with sources suggesting that something major occurred during routine pre-fight testing in the final days of preparation for the biggest fight of his career.
You know, I mean, the thing that I like about the Ryan fight is that he came out. Ryan, even if it was a little bit, he still came out. Why do you have any of that in your body? You know what I mean? I don't know what...
Now, before we get into everything that sources are currently reporting, let's take a step back, because this situation feels painfully familiar to anyone who has followed Ryan Garcia's career closely over the past few years. The pattern unfolding here is something the boxing world has unfortunately witnessed before. And that's what makes this moment even more devastating to watch play out in real time.
You because you pulled out a VADA test.
Yeah, we knew that. Me and my dad, we called it. We're like, you know what? They know who I am, and they know when they feel that fear coming. That's why I told him the first time, you're gonna feel that fear, and he felt that. He knows that Ryan's coming strong. He's like, that's why he said, if Ryan looks good in bars, he's like, no, we good. He dropped out of VADA.
Cast your mind back to 2024. When Ryan Garcia defeated Devin Haney in what many considered one of the most shocking and spectacular upsets of that entire year. Garcia looked absolutely incredible on fight night, explosive, razor-sharp, and completely dominant from the opening bell to the final round. Fans were going wild. Social media was electric. King Ree looked like a superstar who had finally arrived at the very top of the sport. But then everything changed overnight when the test results came back and shattered the entire narrative. The victory was overturned to a no contest after Garcia tested positive for a prohibited substance during that camp. He received a 1-year suspension that pulled him completely out of boxing and destroyed the momentum of what should have been the biggest breakthrough of his entire professional career. The celebration turned to chaos. The victory turned to nothing. And Ryan Garcia was left trying to explain himself to the world while his career sat completely frozen.
You know, I mean, the thing that I like about the Ryan fight is that he came out. Ryan, even if it was a little bit, he still came out. Why do you have any of that in your body? You know what I mean? I don't know if there was messed up with the supplements, but I felt like that was a big advantage for him. It was a really big advantage. No matter what anybody says, you shouldn't have any of that stuff.
The boxing world was split completely down the middle in the months that followed. One side firmly believed Garcia had knowingly used a prohibited substance to gain an unfair competitive advantage. The other side pointed to the possibility that certain substances can enter the body through contaminated supplements, without the athlete ever knowing, and argued that Ryan deserved the benefit of the doubt, given everything else he was going through in his personal life during that incredibly difficult period. Garcia himself maintained throughout the entire process that he was completely innocent. He served his suspension before returning to face Rolando Romero in May 2025, and lost that fight by unanimous decision after being knocked down in the early rounds. Suddenly, his career looked like it was heading in a very dark and uncertain direction, with question marks surrounding absolutely everything.
Just rollies, man. He fought a good fight, caught me early. No excuses, man. Congrats to him. He did a great job, and that's that.
We know it was a long layoff for you, 1 year since that Devin Haney fight, and you didn't seem to really be throwing a lot of punches in there.
Then came the Barrios opportunity that changed everything. The WBC mandated the fight. Garcia was reinstated and welcomed back by the organization. And suddenly, King Ree had one final shot to silence every doubter in the sport and become a world champion for the very first time in his career at 147 pounds. It felt like the universe was giving Ryan Garcia one more chance to get it right. But now, sources suggest that opportunity may have been ripped away from him in the cruelest possible fashion, just 4 days before it was supposed to finally happen. According to multiple people familiar with the situation, serious and urgent questions are being asked behind closed doors about the official status of this fight. Insiders are suggesting the private conversations happening right now in Las Vegas are ones that absolutely nobody involved in this event wanted to be having this close to fight night.
$5,000 as he puts the Mario Barrios WBC championship at risk. And the WBC might be put in a position of making another controversial decision involving their belts. Let's talk about.
One source claiming direct knowledge of the situation reportedly stated that the atmosphere inside Garcia's camp has completely and dramatically shifted in the last 48 hours. Team members have been described as visibly shaken, unusually quiet, and unwilling to comment on specific questions about the fight's current status when approached by media. Many believe the warning signs were actually present for several weeks before the situation exploded into public view, with Garcia's preparation raising eyebrows across the boxing community in ways that now look entirely different in light of what sources are currently reporting out of Las Vegas.
How much did the layoff affect you?
I just think that whole year just took a lot off my body physically and mentally. I'm just happy that I made it to the ring and went 12 rounds. So thank God for the opportunity. I want to thank Jesus Christ in my losses and my wins. And
remember, Ryan Garcia was already hit with a $5,000 fine by the WBC just days ago for missing the mandatory 14-day weight check submission deadline. At the time, the boxing world largely dismissed it as a simple administrative error made by a management team operating under pressure. But sources close to the situation are now suggesting that the chaos surrounding that missed deadline was actually connected to much bigger, far more serious problems happening inside the camp. Problems that nobody was discussing publicly at the time.
So, in my opinion, that helped him a lot, and it messed up Haney a little bit because, you know, it wasn't.
WBC President Mauricio Suleiman had already placed Garcia's team on clear and direct notice, making it absolutely known that any further violations of championship rules would trigger immediate athletic commission involvement and potentially put the entire fight in serious jeopardy. That warning now looks extraordinarily prophetic given everything sources are claiming took place in the days immediately following that first fine. The boxing community reacted with complete shock and disbelief when word first began spreading across social media, with fans flooding every platform demanding answers and official clarification, while fight promoters remained completely silent, refusing to make any public statement confirming or denying what was being reported about the February 21st card. One fan wrote with utter disbelief, "There is absolutely no way this is happening again. Ryan was supposed to be on his redemption arc. This fight was supposed to be his comeback story. This genuinely cannot be real."
For the last couple of months, and I'm sorry for how long it took for me to make this video. I woke up the next morning regretting everything I did and everything I said about Andre, and I came on here just to say I'm sorry.
Another supporter responded with far less sympathy and far more frustration, writing, "At some point, you have to stop making excuses for this man. The exact same pattern keeps repeating itself, and the boxing world keeps acting surprised every single time. When does it end?" That division among fans perfectly captures the impossible, deeply complicated situation Ryan Garcia now finds himself in, where even his most loyal and dedicated supporters are finding it progressively harder to defend everything that keeps happening around his biggest fights. Conor Benn, who had been publicly and loudly targeting the winner of this fight for months as his next move, watched the situation develop and made a statement that many inside boxing interpreted as coming from a man who already knew something significant was wrong, long before the rest of the world had caught up.
You lot think I'm joking. I bet any money Barrios stops Garcia. I bet you any money. I'm not even joking. Barrios stops Garcia. He's going to fumble the bag, so I need to make my money back on him. Any money stops Garcia. I am 100% confident. Taking bets.
Benn had previously told media with absolute certainty, "You lot think I'm joking. I bet any money Barrios stops Garcia. I'm not even joking. He's going to fumble the bag. Barrios, any money, stops Garcia. I'm 100% confident. Taking bets." Many believe Benn's sudden and dramatic shift, from confidently picking Garcia to win, to backing Barrios with such unusual and specific certainty, was directly connected to information already circulating privately inside elite boxing circles about the true state of Garcia's training camp and what ongoing testing was beginning to reveal in those final weeks of preparation.
I think Ryan Garcia is great for boxing. I think he's a liability. I think he's a loose cannon. I think he's unpredictable, could say unprofessional, but ultimately he's sheer entertainment. Gifted, great hand speed, he's athletic, he's young, so he's good for the sport of boxing, and I would tune in to watch Ryan Garcia.
The timing of everything surrounding the situation also raises serious questions that very few people in mainstream boxing media have managed to properly connect. Richardson Hitchins came out weeks ago and very publicly questioned whether Ryan Garcia even looked like a fighter genuinely preparing for a world championship fight, writing directly on social media that Garcia appeared to be training casually in his luxury living room and simply did not look ready for this level of competition. Sources now suggest that Hitchins may have been hearing the exact same private whispers that were quietly circulating inside boxing circles for weeks before anything became public. Whispers about a training camp that was not progressing the way anyone had planned, and about problems that ran far deeper than unusual training footage and missed administrative deadlines.
Who knew me the most? Andrea knows me the most, and I'm sorry, Andrea. I feel bad. I retract all my statements about her. She never stole money from me. She never did anything wrong by me. She never cheated on me. We weren't together, so right there, she's not a cheater. She's a great woman.
Joe Goossen, the respected Hall of Fame trainer who worked directly with Ryan Garcia through 3 of his biggest professional fights before being let go and subsequently hired by Mario Barrios, made a comment during fight week that now carries an entirely different and far more significant meaning in light of everything sources are reporting out of Las Vegas. Goossen told the Ring magazine with extraordinary and unusual confidence, "I know exactly what we are going to do. I would not tell you how Mario is going to beat Ryan if you gave me $1 million, but we are completely prepared for every single scenario." Many people in boxing now believe that Goossen's remarkable level of certainty was not simply about boxing tactics or fight strategy, but about something far more fundamental regarding whether Ryan Garcia was ever genuinely going to make it into that ring on February 21st at all.
Around me for my actions, and I'm sorry, because I know our kids are going to watch these when they get older, and I'm so sorry. I mean, I lost everything, you know. I lost the one thing I ever loved, and I knew, and who knew the...
Mario Barrios himself has been completely and conspicuously silent since these reports first began emerging publicly. His entire team has refused to confirm or deny any specific details about the fight's current official status, which sources suggest is the clearest possible signal that urgent conversations are happening at the absolute highest levels of professional boxing about exactly what comes next if Garcia is ultimately unable to compete on fight night. The WBC now faces an incredibly difficult and consequential decision about how to handle a situation that threatens to completely destroy one of the most eagerly anticipated welterweight title fights of the entire 2026 boxing calendar, and leave thousands of fans who purchased pay-per-view packages, flights, and hotel rooms in Las Vegas utterly devastated. For Ryan Garcia personally, the stakes of everything currently unfolding simply cannot be overstated. This was supposed to be his redemption story. His moment to silence every critic who said he would never reach the very top of the sport. His chance to finally achieve the world title dream he has been chasing his entire professional life since he first laced up a pair of boxing gloves as a child.
Seems to be a lack of discipline. And he's forcing the WBC, could be forcing the WBC, or did force the WBC, I should say, in making another controversial decision that people will, and it's controversial not because you shouldn't expect it, but because people will want to know where the money's going. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back.
Sources suggest that Garcia himself has been completely devastated by how these final days before the most important fight of his entire career have unfolded. People who know him personally describe a young man who is genuinely struggling to process a situation that once again threatens to take everything away from him, at precisely the moment he was standing closer to his dream than he has ever been before. Whether this fight actually takes place on February 21st as scheduled, whether a replacement opponent can be found quickly enough to save the card, or whether the entire event gets postponed, the boxing world will know with absolute certainty very soon. But what is already completely clear right now is this: Ryan Garcia's career has once again reached a defining crossroads that only he can navigate. And the decisions and revelations coming in the next 48 hours will determine not just whether he ever becomes a world champion, but whether he has any future left in professional boxing at all.
You're the mother of my children, and somebody that I will always have love and respect for. You grew up me, and you see me at my best, and now you're seeing me at my worst. Drea and everybody knows I have a lot going on right now, but I finally decided to get some help.
The boxing world is watching every single development. Las Vegas is waiting for answers. And right now, every person connected to this fight is holding their breath, hoping that the news that breaks next is something they can all find a way to live with. That's all for now. For the very latest updates on news, moments, and everything happening in the world of boxing, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment when we drop content like this.